Hello and welcome to Bulldogs Weekly right here on Shaw TV. I'm Tali Campbell. On today's show, we chat to Port Alberni Junior Hockey Society President Ron Paulson, and we talk trade news as Bulldogs General Manager Matt Hughes makes a big move. That's for this edition of Bulldogs Weekly. I am now joined with the president of the Port Alberni Junior Hockey Society, Ron Paulson. Ron, talk about this community-owned team. When did it start? How does it work?
Well, the historical is the team came here just after the turn of the century and from Burnaby. At that point in time, there were 5 local owners that bought out the Burnaby owners. Then it switched to the Okanagan Hockey Academy. And the Okanagan Hockey Academy made it very clear that they actually wanted to get out of the junior A hockey business. Operating at arm's length wasn't the thing for them. And so at that point in time, there was some worry about the hockey team being sold. There was some worry about would it stay in Port Alberni. And there was a group of local people that put together a society and made the endeavor to raise the funds to buy the hockey club. And that's kind of where we're at today after 5.5 years, going on 6 years of community-owned society team. There's a board of directors. There's 12 directors on the board of directors, and we also operate subcommittees, a fundraising committee, a business operations committee, a hockey ops committee. So that's kind of where we're at today, and it's going okay, but we're still struggling.
And it's correct that the AGM is coming up on December the 6th. Is that correct here at the Alberni Valley Multiplex?
That's correct. The AGM coming up on December the 6th. It's upstairs in the upper lounge here, and we certainly welcome anybody from the community to come out and join us, or in particular, all of our season ticket holders and die-hard fans.
And as president, you're also the governor for the team here for the BCHL level, and the BCHL has adopted a brand new playoff format. Just kind of talk about what that format looks like for this. I know there's been a couple changes in the past years.
There was a committee formed this year to standardize the playoffs, and the only thing that might affect it would be contraction of the league or expansion of the league. Obviously, there are teams and fans that were disgruntled over the third round robin thing because it got a little confusing, but any hockey fan would be able to figure that out. So what's happened in the last year is Wenatchee has moved to the interior to kind of level out the balance of the league. So essentially what's happening this year is 4 teams from the Island Division will make the playoffs, 4 teams from the Lower Mainland will make the playoffs, and 6 teams from the interior will make the playoffs. At that point in time, the bottom 3 teams, there are 17 teams in the league, the bottom 3 teams will enter into a wild card formula, and actually 2 of those bottom 3 teams will make the playoffs. For example, if we finished in 5th place in the Island Division but had enough points to win one of those wild cards, we could wind up playing Trail or Penticton in the first round. So it's pretty important to finish in the top 4 in your division. So at the end of the day, to summarize it, to make it simple, 16 out of 17 teams make the playoffs. It's great for, I think, the small market teams that have the potential for some playoff revenue and some playoff excitement and get the fans revved up in the community. So that's the way the playoff format is structured now, and we certainly plan on, at the league level, keeping that playoff structure into the near future.
Awesome. Now, speaking about team specifics right now, what is the expectation the board of directors have for this team this year?
Well, that's kind of a multi-pronged question. I mean, you look at short-term goals, but you also look at long-term goals. Certainly, I mean, this year after last year's performance, we're looking at making the playoffs. It's critical that teams make the playoffs, and playoff revenue is critical. Short-term, I think you look at the team that you have around you, player development. We have 14 rookies in our lineup this year, and certainly some of those rookie mistakes show from time to time, but patience is a virtue here. The long-term thing is an opportunity for our new staff, our hockey staff, to put into place scouting and recruiting structures to recruit for the future, and I know that our head coach, Matt, is really high on actually doing recruiting earlier in the year so you can get to those prime prospects, not in the spring, but before Christmas. And we're actively pursuing that philosophy at this time, and we're hopeful that a major part of our recruiting will be done probably by Christmas.
And lastly, Ron, let's talk about a viewer at home right now watching, going, I've never seen a Bulldogs game, or I've seen a few, and I might become a season ticket member. What are some benefits coming a season ticket holder with the Alberni Valley Bulldogs?
Well, certainly the benefits is Saturday night's entertainment. I mean, for the dollar, you can't find a better evening's entertainment. And it assures you of your seat, your prime seat, the one that you chose in the rink, game after game after game. I mean, if you buy on a nightly basis, it's kind of a lottery where you get to sit or where you get to stand. It also gives you first right of refusal on your seats for any playoff games, and I think that's huge for most people. There are other benefits. There's discounts on merchandise and those sorts of things in our pro shop, but where else in Port Alberni do we gather over 1,000 people under one roof 28 times a year? And a season ticket holder, you can be a part of that. You can be a part of that 28 games a year.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. That was Port Alberni Junior Hockey Society President Ron Paulson chatting with me. Changing news now, Matt Hughes, head coach and general manager of the Alberni Valley Bulldogs, announced late last week that he traded Caden Krause for James Orban. James Orban comes from the Olds Grizzly of the Alberta Junior Hockey League, where in 85 games he tallied a total of 31 points. While Caden Krause, who is set to join the Grizzlies following 2+ seasons with the Bulldogs, earned himself 48 points in 124 career BCHL games. Best of luck to Caden Krause in his future. That's all the time we have for this edition of Bulldogs Weekly, right here on Shaw TV. We'll see you next time.